Hi guys, it's Machaela and welcome back to my channel and welcome to another ranking video where I rank everything I own from Morphe. Now Morphe is one of those brands where in the back of my mind I really don't like. I don't really get excited to pull out their items. However, once I use their items, I just can't get rid of anything because it actually works really well. So I kind of have a love-hate relationship with the brand. Anyway, I've got 8 items to rank. Mostly eyeshadow palettes. I've got a face palette, and then I've got a foundation and a concealer. So let's just get started. Starting in at number 8 is the Morphe 2. It's their skin tint. It's their Hint Hint skin tint. And I thought I would like this more than I did. I could get rid of it. However, when I use it, I do like it, especially when I can mix it right and I've got the right base underneath it. However, the undertone is a little too pink for my skin. I've almost gotten rid of this about a dozen times, but then just kind of like with everything here, I feel like I go to get rid of it, I use it one last time, and I decide that I actually do like it, that I can work with it, so I keep it in my collection. So I wouldn't say this is my favorite product of all time. I think a lot of it has to do with the shade. And it's a very runny, watery formula, so it makes it a little bit difficult to work with. However, I can work with it, which is why it has stayed in my collection for as long as it has. And coming in at number 7 is the Morphe 2 Hide and Peak Concealer. I think I got a shade too light for me. It's just one of those concealers that kind of gets forgot about in my collection. I've got a lot of concealers that I do like more. It's a little bit light, but again, when I use it, I like it. It's just Morphe's just, again, I just kind of forget about the brand, but once I use their products, I like them. I'll probably be saying that most of this video, but let's go ahead and get into some of the eyeshadow palettes. Coming in at number 6 is the Morphe Blew You Away palette. It is the 18 something. Anyway, it's the Blew Ya Away palette. And I like the theme behind it. It kind of talks about like stardom and being in the spotlight. It's a fun palette. I think for me, the eyeshadows, the tones are a little bit too cool for my liking. But it's a fun palette when I do use it. It's just, the tones itself are overall just a little bit too cool. Then at number 5 is the 35M palette. I think this is the first Morphe palette I ever picked up. And again, it's one of those palettes where I don't get too excited, but like the color story is fun. The price point is good and the quality is okay. A lot of like the rankings with the eyeshadow palettes here more so were color story preferences. But again, I like it. I like the variety of shades I can get in this palette. I like the variety of tones I can get. But it's an okay palette in my opinion. And the shade names are on here, which isn't really a deterrent for me. It's just a little bit of an inconvenience, but I do enjoy it. And coming in at number 4 is the Morphe face palette. This is another one of those items I've debated on getting rid of, but then I go to use it. I like it. I especially like the contour shades here. The highlighters and the blushes are okay, but I really do like this for the contour shades. I feel like they're like the perfect tones for me. They're nice and light, and I can make them work. So again, I can pull this out, and once I use it, I like it. It's just not the first thing I think to reach for in my makeup collection as a whole. And then the top 3 here are eyeshadow palettes, and I actually really do like these. Coming in at number 3 is the 35D Desert Bouquet. I'm typically not a huge fan of like makeup palettes like this, but I just can't seem to get away from the Morphe palettes. I like this color story. I think this one came out, was it last summer? Maybe the summer before, but I like how you get like your rose of greens, your orangey yellows, your more neutrals, and then you've got more pink tones over here. So you can get a variety of looks out of it. Again, for a price point that's not bad. Morphe is not my favorite eyeshadow formula, but you get a lot of bang for your buck if you are on a budget, and especially for the palettes being this big, this will last you a long time, and you've got a huge variety of looks you can do. What I do like about the Morphe makeup palettes is you can pick one palette and have like every color story you need. It just kind of depends on your preference on color story. I feel like for the most part, their makeup palettes all have like your neutrals for your staple looks, but then your pops of color, and really that's what you're gonna get is your pops of colors plus your everyday looks, which I do really like. And then coming in at number 2 is the Morphe 35S Sweet Oasis palette. I was attracted to this mostly because of the blues and the pink tones over here. The neutrals are a little bit too cool, but I do love the soft pinks. I like cooler pink tones, like blushy pink tones, but when it comes to neutral eyeshadows, I like them more on the neutral to warm side. But then you've got your rose of blue, which are really fun. I really do love the layout of the color stories here, because you've got like your lighter to darker shades, but then you've got like your pops of color all kind of put together, and it's just laid out nicely. Whereas I feel like this palette here, the 35D, these palettes did come out sooner. Like, I feel like the color stories don't really go like perfectly together, whereas I just like the layout of that palette better, which is another reason why like these last 3 palettes are ranking higher. And then the last one, my number 1 Morphe palette, is the 35C Everyday Chic palette. It does come with this for shade name, so it's slightly inconvenient, but these tones just call to me. Like, you've got your blushy pinks. I actually do really like the more pressed glitter shades, especially in the Morphe palettes. I feel like you've got some dimension here. You've got your more neutral tones here. If you are looking at the Urban Decay 3 palette but want an affordable alternative with a little bit more variety, I think this would be a really good bet to go for. Because again, I feel like a very kind of princessy kind of vibes here. You've got your soft purples, your overall neutral tone. So I feel like for me, this is like an ideal color story for just what I want in a palette in general. Now, if I could get a palette like this in like a Natasha Denona formula, like I would be thrilled. But I feel like color story, this is a near perfect color story for what I like. And plus you can get into like the holiday looks with the holidays coming up. You've got like your Christmassy greens here, which again is really fun, and the layout is overall very fun. Anyway, that is everything I own from Morphe. If there's a specific brand that you'd like to see next that you would like me to rank, let me know. But if you are new here, I do videos focusing on beauty and lifestyle. My goal on this platform is to share my love for beauty as well as my love for Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. And I am currently pregnant, so I've got a lot of that content on my channel. I've got a lot more coming. I'm due here very soon with my next baby. But I am currently going through just ranking brands that I've got. My kind of overall goal here is anything I have more than about 5 products from each brand, I'll rank them. So Morphe was 8 products. Again, I have a love-hate relationship with Morphe. I kind of forget about them, but then I go to use them and I kind of make myself use them, and I find that I don't want to get rid of anything from them. But anyway, with that being said, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.